because we're looking at a pretty profound story about a young, incredibly frustrated apprentice. So this guy had a huge heart, right? He believed kindness was just this bottomless well. He gave away literally all his hard-earned money. He sacrificed his weekends just to help neighbors fix their roofs. And his reward for all of this? Absolute anger. One neighbor demanded even more work, and another threw a massive fit just because they didn't like the color of the new roof tiles. He gave them everything, and they honestly just became more ungrateful.
Have you ever felt exactly like that apprentice? You pour your time, your empathy, your energy into someone else's problems, only to find yourself completely exhausted, underappreciated, and just trapped in a one-sided relationship. The apprentice practically screamed this question: why does my kindness turn to dust? Who should I actually be helping, and who should I just walk away from? It's a question that hits incredibly close to home for anyone who's ever experienced that deep, draining caretaker burnout.
So to figure this out, he goes to his mentor. This is a wise, weathered master boat builder named Nazar. Now, Nazar knew wood, he knew the storms, and he knew human nature way better than any textbook could ever teach. When the apprentice vented his frustrations, Nazar didn't just give him a comforting pat on the back. Instead, he hit him with this incredible piece of wisdom. He said, "Kindness without wisdom is a leaky bucket, boy. The sea is more honest than people. It will show us." Well, let's follow them down to the freezing port town, because Nazar is about to show him the real answer to his question.
Part 1. 3 Faces of False Need, or the Illusions of Empathy. As they walk toward the water, Nazar is about to show his apprentice 3 specific encounters.
Their day in the port town unfolds in 3 distinct parts. First, in the morning, they meet a beggar. At midday, a merchant. And finally, in the afternoon, a drunkard. Let's look at exactly what happened at each of these stops.
Right down by the water's edge that morning, they spot a man sitting in filthy clothes next to an old, rotting boat just full of seaweed. He's groaning loudly, begging passersby for bread, claiming he's starving to death. Naturally, the young apprentice immediately goes for his coin purse, but Nazar grabs his arm and stops him. He tells the boy to look closer. Actually, when you think about it, it's wild. Look at the man's oars. They are bone dry. And his hands? There isn't a single callus on them.
Nazar breaks this situation down brilliantly. He points out that when someone throws this beggar a coin, the guy doesn't even say thank you. He just grimaces that it wasn't more. Nazar explains that this man has literally chosen suffering as his actual profession. Why? Well, because the pity of strangers pays way better and is a whole lot easier than actually rowing out to sea. He tells the apprentice, if you give him a coin, you aren't saving him from hunger. You're just confirming to him that he never needs to pick up those oars again. You aren't helping him live, you're helping him rot.
As midday hits, they move over to the market square. Here, they see this wealthy merchant screaming at everyone walking by, demanding they help him lift a massive, heavy chest onto his cart. But there's a catch here. The merchant is standing entirely clear of the chest, absolutely terrified of getting his pristine silk sleeves dirty. A kind passerby actually runs over, strains their back to heave the chest up, and what does the merchant do? He yells at the helper for scratching the wood and just rides off.
Nazar uses this to deliver a pretty brutal truth. When you rush in to help someone who refuses to get their own hands dirty, you don't actually solve their problem. You just become their tool. You're their unpaid, disrespected laborer. Nazar's rule here is absolute. Never push the cart of someone who won't hold the handles. If they won't take ownership of their own burden, your help is just being exploited. So late afternoon rolls around, and they run into a man weeping hysterically over a broken wine jug. He's begging for coins, swearing on his life that he needs the money to buy medicine for his sick mother. The apprentice's heart breaks all over again, and he reaches for his purse. But Nazar just points to a tavern right around the corner. The very second a new group of revelers walks out, the crying man suddenly leaps up, pulls out a handful of hidden coins from his own pocket, and sprints over to buy another round of drinks. No way, right?
Nazar calls this man a bottomless vessel. I mean, if you try to fill a cup that has no bottom, you're just wasting your water. The master explains that to a person like this, your kindness is really nothing more than fuel for the fire they are using to burn their own life down. If you help him, you aren't being kind. You're becoming a willing accomplice in his self-destruction.
Section 2. True effort and the final encounter. Because, well, the day isn't quite over yet. As the sun begins to set, the ocean water turns freezing cold, and on their way back, they encounter a completely different kind of character.
We get this stark contrast here. All day long, they saw parasites, right? People with clean hands sitting around, waiting, demanding that everyone else fix their lives. But now, down in the freezing surf, they see an old fisherman. His boat was smashed on the rocks in a storm. He's exhausted, he's shivering, and his fingers are literally bleeding. But he isn't sitting on the sand begging. He's knee-deep in the ice water, desperately trying to tie shattered planks together to build a makeshift raft so he can get back out to sea tomorrow. He is actively seeking a solution.
Now watch how the master reacts to this. Nazar doesn't say a word. He just walks right into the water, reaches into his bag, and pulls out strong tarred twine, which is the exact tool the fisherman is missing. Notice that Nazar doesn't push the old man aside to do the work for him. He simply steps in alongside him, pulling the logs tight. The fisherman nods in gratitude, wipes his sweat, and together, in just 1 hour, they accomplish what would have taken that exhausted old man an entire day.
Section 3. Be a lever, not unpaid labor. They return to the warmth of the master's workshop, where Nazar distills everything they saw into a profound framework about what genuine, effective assistance actually looks like.
Nazar tells the boys straight up, "You don't help those who are sitting and waiting, you help those who are already walking but have stumbled. You don't help those demanding food, you help those looking for a tool. True help is not you replacing someone else's labor with your own, it's acting as a lever. You provide that lever only when a person is already pushing the stone, but their own strength has simply run out."
Section 4. Protect energy and guard your resources. Let's actually turn this back to you for a second. The master's lesson to the apprentice is a direct challenge to how we manage our own boundaries today. How often do you find yourself completely exhausted because you're doing the heavy lifting for people who refuse to lift a finger for themselves?
You've got to stop carrying parasites on your back. People who've forgotten how to walk simply because you are always so willing to carry them. Your energy, your time, your empathy, these are incredibly precious resources. They are not a dumping ground for other people's laziness. You need to save your fuel for the people who are actively rowing against the current, even if their oars are broken. You absolutely must guard your light from the shadows who will drink it all in, ask for more, and just leave you standing in the dark. Which brings us to one final, really necessary question to ask yourself today about your own life and your relationships. Look at the people demanding your time and your energy right now. Are you feeding parasites who refuse to hold their own handles? Or are you a lever, fueling the fire of those who are already putting in the work? Conserve your light for those who are ready to walk beside you, and let your kindness create real results, rather than just turning to dust.